All right, what is up, everybody? Detroit Pistons basketball is back today. We have a back-to-back. We will be playing the Brooklyn Nets today. Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. They won't have Nicholas Claxton. And then, unfortunately for us Detroit Pistons fans, we will not have Cade Cunningham out there tonight. Actually, Dwayne Casey, a quote just came out basically that said, Dwayne Casey does not want Cade Cunningham to play any back-to-backs throughout this entire regular season. So expect that in the future. We will not see Cade in any back-to-back games this season, at least in the near-time future. So that's basically everything, man. I wanted to get on here and talk with y'all like an hour before the game started. Cade is out with the F. Yeah, man. I mean, it was a big shock to me because if you guys saw earlier, the title of this live stream was Kevin Durant versus Cade Cunningham, but obviously that's not going to happen now. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. They're being cautious with him. They don't want him playing back-to-backs, and it's whatever, man. We'll see him eventually. Again, I guess. They're easing these guys into the season, limiting Killian's playing time each night, slowly bringing Cade into the fold, keeping an eye on Isaiah's body so he doesn't get hurt again. And that's actually a good point that you just mentioned about Killian Hayes, because some people were wondering, you know, why was Corey Joseph getting more minutes over him in the fourth quarter? And I still do have those, you know, questions and concerns. But I think one of the reasons why as well that people forget about Killian is that he also had to deal with injury issues recently as well. During the summer league. Well, yeah, the summer league, he missed a portion of the summer league this year. Preseason, we know that he missed another portion of that as well. And training camp, Killian had that ankle. Well, I don't know if it was an ankle injury, but they said it was some type of bruise or something like that. So Killian as well, he also did have to deal with injuries. So maybe that's the reason why he isn't playing as much as well. Yeah, no need to rush. It's no need to rush these guys. I mean, if we get another top pick this year in the draft, I'm not going to be angry. Yes, sir. What's good? What's up, everybody? Killian versus Kevin, two superstars going get it. I know. I wish you could have seen it tonight, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen because Cade Cunningham, he is injured. Well, injured. Load management. I guess that's what they're going to call it tonight. So why is Cade not playing tonight? It's load management, basically. That's the term I guess they're gonna go with for him. It's a Kawhi Leonard type thing, I guess. They don't plan on playing him in any back-to-back, so that's why Cade is not gonna be there tonight. I love Nets and I love Pistons. This is special game for me. Is that James Harden, Darius, as your profile picture? So I guess that explains a lot if you're James Harden fan, but actually, let me bring up a couple of things for you guys. So the projected starting lineup tonight for the Pistons is Killian Hayes, Frank Jackson, Saddiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Isaiah Stewart. So without Cade, they're planning on putting Frank Jackson back in the starting lineup. So you guys could take that as you will. Frank Jackson, he's had a rough start to this regular season. So hopefully tonight against the Brooklyn Nets, he can begin to pick it up because it's been a pretty slow start for him. With the F Cade out, yeah. So if anybody's just tuning in, Cade Cunningham will not be playing tonight. He is load managing yet again, unfortunately. But back to what I was just saying. Frank Jackson will be in the starting lineup tonight. KD versus Jamarco. I think Jamarco right now is he's supposed to be preparing to train with the G League team if he's not already down there, because when I was looking at their roster, he was the main guy who was going to be the dude on the G League. So what the heck is C35 while y'all low managing? It's the injury, bro. They're gonna be extra cautious. He's their what word would I use for it? He's the money investment. If you're buying a new car, you want to make sure that if you're going out to buy a new car, you want to make sure it has no mileage on it, right? So I guess that's how they're gonna treat Cade Cunningham, at least to begin the regular season. Now, later down the line, we'll see if they begin to ease up and let him play more and be more free with him. But as of right now, they're load managing Cade Cunningham. Yo, what's good, Joe? What's up, big dog? Appreciate you for being back on the stream. Yo, what's up, Joe? What's up, Mook? What you doing? What else can I bring up? Oh, yeah, this is something that irritated me. I just seen this. I know my screen is cracked, so you guys can barely see this, but I'll read it off to you. This is an article by The Rush. It's called The Sports Rush. Cade Cunningham really had the worst debut for a number one pick since Anthony Bennett. Look at that, man. It says The Sports Rush. I'm going to read that again for you guys. Cade Cunningham really had the worst debut for a number 1 pick since Anthony Bennett. That is crazy, man. That's one heck of a freaking headline. I mean, it got me to read their article, and they didn't really hit on Cade in the article, but that title alone is just kind of disrespectful in my personal opinion, just kind of attacking Cade. You know, saying that it's the worst debut since, what's his name? Anthony Bennett, which is all-time bust, you know. How long do you think Cade will load manage for? I would say, well, as of right now, they're being extremely cautious with him. They don't want to play him on any back-to-back. So, and they're minutes restricting him as well. So we probably will see this for a good maybe 1 to 2 more months. I don't know. Just I hope that because the trainers, they're being smart with this. They're being extra cautious. I just hope that they're not overdoing it. You know what I'm saying? I hope that they just find the right amount of touch where like the right amount of minutes to put him in per night, and then the right amount of load management or whatever you want to call it for him. I hope they just don't overdo it and being too overcautious. You know what I'm saying? Bro, we tanking already. I'm calling it now. I mean, they did have that Jeremy Grant thing where he had that phantom injury. I don't even remember what it was called, but it was an injury that I never heard before. A few nights ago, I believe that was in the Atlanta Hawks game where Jeremy Grant missed it. It was a phantom injury. So I don't know if we're necessarily tanking, but right now it doesn't really seem like the incentive is to win ball games right now. It appears that they're just focusing on, you know, growing and developing the young talent, which is fine, I guess. Sean Don Sports, how you feel about our rim protection? I think even though Stu can play center, I think he would be better suited at power forward, and I think eventually we need to get another big to play alongside with Beef Stew. You know, as I've said multiple times in the past, it's a reason why I really wanted the Pistons to go after someone like Nerlens Noel in this past offseason, because Nerlens Noel was a guy who could have helped you in terms of rebounding the basketball and defending the paint. I really would have loved to pick up someone like Nerlens Noel. And without him, you know, Isaiah Stewart, he's really the only big that we have right now who focuses on defense and rebounding and rim protection. Because, you know, you look at Killian Hayes focuses on offense and scoring, and he does his thing. So shouts out to him. You know, we brought him here for that reason specifically. He plays his role. Luka Garza as well. He's a offensive oriented. I don't know how to say that word. Offensive focus, I guess you could say. Center. So you got those two guys, and then you have Isaiah Stewart. He's really the only guy out there who really tries to play defense at the big position. And then you also have to think about the fact that he's undersized. You know, what is he? 6'8", 6'9". So, you know, the Pistons, Troy Weaver, he knew what he was doing coming into the season. He knew that he wanted his bigs to be more offensive focused, and I guess that's just what we have to do. We just have to live with it, I guess I could say. Maybe help defense can help out him, you know, in the post, maybe sending down a defender like Cade Cunningham or Jeremy Grant to help out Isaiah Stewart when he's defending in the post. But as of right now, there's really nothing else we can really do. We decided not to go after a defensive or a rebounding big, so we just have to live with the team and, you know, keep going with Isaiah Stewart right now. Let me see. Laugh all out. The funny thing is, we know Cade will be great. They can hate all they want. Yeah, the articles, the slow-mo Cade guys out there who constantly come and hate on Cade, it's whatever, man. They can continue to hate. We know what he's gonna be. This is a back-to-back game. I think so. Yeah, Pistons just being cautious and letting him rest and heal his ankle a little bit more. Absolutely. And I was watching, I forget which YouTuber it was, but he basically said that what's it called? He thought that last night we didn't play Cade a lot of minutes because he thought that they were going to play him more minutes in this back-to-back game, but it appears that that's not the case currently right now. So yeah, slow down just one game. Bro, Dwayne Casey is babying Cade for real. Yeah, elbow infection. That's what it was called. Jeremy Grant a few games ago had an elbow infection. I never heard of that injury before. Is that like if I were to get a knife and I was just to cut right here, is that an elbow infection or is that like something else? Because I know there's another injury that you can have called a hairline fracture, and a hairline fracture is not an actual hairline fracture. It's actually some type of bone injury. So maybe that's what an elbow infection is. I don't know, but that is a phantom injury, something that I never heard of before, and that's what they did to Jeremy Grant. So if they continue to do things like that and, elbow infection and knee infection and blah, 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 if they continue to do things like that, then maybe I will concede and say, okay, maybe the Pistons are tanking this year. But it's still early on in the season right now, and I can't really make that assumption at this current moment in time. But I am, looking and keeping my eye, on the elbow infections and all these phantom type injuries out here. Chet or Benchero. I mean, it's really early to talk about that as well. But I mean, as of right now, I guess you could say Chet. But with the Pistons specifically, it may be better to get Benchero, especially with him being like a forward, a power forward. With us losing Sekou Ndoye, he could be a guy who can, grow behind Jeremy Grant in the future. Detroit is the most hated team. And we are the most hated fan base, but we don't care. Detroit versus everybody. Yeah, man, it's the reason why that, saying, came along a few years ago. The hatred for Detroit and Michigan is really real. And I'm going to read that again for anybody who just tuned in. The Sports Rush, which is a website, and they basically said, Cade Cunningham, I'm reading this quote by quote, Cade Cunningham really had the worst debut for a number one pick since Anthony Bennett. They literally said that. I'm not making this stuff up. So, yeah, man, the hate continues, but it is what it is. Hairline unlined up, hairline fracture. Yeah, if you ever played 2K before, you probably know what a hairline fracture is. Those injuries, if you play my league, you see those all the times. What's up, Elton Cross? What's up, my man? Good to see you on the stream. An elbow infection is when you get a cut around the elbow area, then bacteria gets in and infects it. Okay, so yeah, it basically is what I said. So basically, like if I were to get a knife and if I were to cut it right here, it will basically it would kind of be considered like an elbow infection because bacteria would get in and infect it. So I guess that's what it is. But Jeremy Grant, it doesn't appear that he has some type of bruise or cut on his elbow. So I think they just made that up and just gave Jeremy Grant the night off, if I'm keeping it a buck. Who is out for the game? So for the Brooklyn Nets, obviously we know Kyrie Irving, he's out. And Nicholas Claxton, he as well is out for the Brooklyn Nets. And then as far as the Detroit Pistons go, Cade Cunningham will not be playing tonight because of load management, injury management, whatever term they want to use. Cade Cunningham will not be playing tonight for the Pistons as well, which is unfortunate. Let me see. Any more updates? No, we currently don't have any new updates on Cade. Why they resting Cade? It's load management, I guess, the Kawhi Leonard type thing, Kyrie Irving. I guess they're being they're being cautious with him right now. Jeremy could have put some Neosporin on it and a Band-Aid and suit it up. They ain't trying to win games, bro. Jeremy would play with that injury. Exactly, man. I mean, it's pretty early to say that we're tanking right now, but with something like what is it called again? An elbow infection, something like that. That is one of the most phantom injuries I've ever heard in my life. So I don't want to say tanking because it's really early in the season, but hey, I'm keeping my eye on it. We could win this, but it's both of my teams is playing. Nets could win, but Pistons could win. I mean, tonight, especially without Cade Cunningham, I mean, I think we'll give the Nets a run for their money. They are 3-3 right now. It's not like the Nets are, one of the top teams. I mean, they are a top team in the NBA, but right now they're not playing like one of the top teams. They're actually off to kind of a slow start. They did have a recent game where Kevin Durant had 22 points. James Harden had 29. And then what's his name? LaMarcus Aldridge, he also had 20 points. So, and that was the last game that they played. So they did recently play really well, but overall, coming into the season, the Nets are 3-3. So, I do expect them to win tonight, but we will have a fighting chance, I would say. We need to start Jackson. He's our third best player. Yeah, I don't really, giving Frank Jackson the minutes in the starting role right now. I don't think he's really earned it, especially with the way that he's played so far in this regular season. But they're going to continue to give him chances, and we're going to see what he does. He's having a slow start to this regular season right now, but we'll see how he plays tonight. But I do agree that if it was up to me, I probably would have started Josh Jackson. Killian scores 30 tonight. I mean, hey, without Cade, this is another opportunity for him to go out there and try to ball and, try to get near a triple-double. So we'll see how Killian plays tonight. Apologies if you guys can hear that. I guess the police are going crazy or something. People are here going nuts over Halloween, I guess. they should sit Kevin Durant and Harden. Yeah, if I was the Brooklyn Nets, I mean, even without those two guys, if Aldridge still plays well and the rest of the guys on their team play well, they will have a fighting chance against the Pistons. So maybe not both of them. If I was the Nets, I would probably just sit one of those guys, and it would probably be James Harden. I would sit him. This is what I know. Unless the dogs, well, hold up. This is what I know. Unless the dogs, I thought that this season was a restore and not a rebuild. Let these boys play. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I feel you, Elton, but the over precautious nature. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily over precautious, but they're being extremely cautious right now with Cade Cunningham, and it's frustrating. The minutes restriction in that game was also frustrating not to see him in the fourth quarter, and Killian Hayes as well. I want to see him get more minutes, but it is what it is, man. We just got to tough it out and continue to progress through this season. Josh Jackson should have a good game. Yeah, I think he'll have a bounce back game because I believe he had only 10 or 12 points last game. I forget, but I expect him to have a much better game offensively tonight. Unleash it, I meant. I really hope Cade get Rookie of the Year. I mean, I want him to as well, but if they're going to continue to do these type of things and not play him on some nights and minutes restrict him on a few nights on occasion, I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I hope he can get it. I think he has a chance to, but if guys like what's his name, the dude who plays for the Raptors, Barnes, if he continues to play well, if Jalen Green picks it up and Mobley picks it up, if they get to a head start on Cade and he's out here missing games because of load management, it's going to be tough for him to battle back and try to win Rookie of the Year. But the type of player that Cade Cunningham is, with how good he is, I do think that he still will have a chance, even if he's going to be starting behind guys like Jalen Green and Evan Mobley and those guys. Sup, Polo, you think the Pistons can benefit from Ben Simmons? I actually haven't talked about Ben Simmons and the Pistons together in like a good 3 to 4 months, but just in general, my opinion on Ben Simmons, I'm not really a fan of adding him to this team. I believe, he's a really solid player. I know a lot of people hate on him, but he's a solid defender, a solid rebounder, or a good playmaker. He can score inside. We obviously know that he's not a good 3-point shooter, but Ben Simmons is a really good player, a really talented defender, one of the best defenders, in fact, in the NBA. So I do respect him, but I don't really necessarily know if I would want him on my Pistons team, especially with the assets that we would have to give up. We would have to give up Jeremy Grant and a lot of our picks, and then probably a player like Killian or another one of our young guys as well, which is not something that I would want to do. So Ben Simmons, a talented player, a fine player, but I do not want him on my team. And then especially with the way that he's doing all of these temper tantrums and, wilding out in practice and having his phone in his pocket while he was in practice with the Sixers, I do not want that anywhere near my team. That is not the way how we do it here in Detroit. So to finish it out, Ben Simmons, no, I do not want him on the Pistons. Let me see. Ben Simmons as the point guard, center, maybe. No, yeah. Us Pistons fans, Detroit guys, like when you out here and you don't want to come to training camp, and then when you come to practice, you want to mess around and have your phone in your pocket. Like, bro, I do not want that in Detroit. The drama, we really do not need that here. It was a joke, my guy. Laugh out loud. I'm still down for a Ben Simmons trade, but Philly might be asking for too much. They said they'll wait 4 years until they get a good trade. Yeah, they did say that. And the deal for him, legit, it's going to be Jeremy Grant. It's going to be multiple picks. And then we're going to have to give up someone like Killian or Isaiah Livers. Or they may, heck, they may even ask for Sadiq Bey. And that's an absolute no-go for me. So Ben Simmons, again, I do not want him on the team, especially with the mindset that he has currently. Slim W. Hooper, keep up the hard work, Brody. Who you think getting traded and who do you want traded? Thank you for saying keeping up the hard work. Who do I think is getting traded this year? I mean, Troy Weaver, he's a really aggressive guy. In these past years, he's made so many trades with all of the players on the Pistons. We had DeLon Wright, Derrick Rose, just so many guys. Tony Bradley. We had so many guys on this team that Troy Weaver just traded away. Like when he first got here, got Bruce Brown and Luke Kennard and all those guys out, Steve Mikhailuk. Like Troy Weaver makes a lot of moves. So at the deadline, I am expecting him to possibly make another move just because of the simple fact that he's an extremely aggressive guy. but I don't really know who I want to see gone. I mean, Corey Joseph, I like him on this team. I just want him to have reduced minutes. I want to see more minutes out of Killian. I would love to see Corey Joseph get around 10 minutes per night, but if Troy decided to trade Corey, I wouldn't be upset. Rodney McGruder as well. He's a veteran on this team, but he doesn't really do much when he gets out there on the court. So if they traded him as well, I wouldn't really be upset. And as far as the rest of the guys go, I don't really see what the heck. Oh, that's my alarm. I don't really want to see anybody else getting traded from this team right now because we have a lot of young talent who could really pop in the future. So for me right now, I wouldn't want to see anybody traded. But if I were to predict for someone to get traded, it would probably be someone like Corey Joseph. Ready for that dub. I mean, we're playing the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know. They're starting out 3-3. I think we have a decent chance, but at the same time, they are the Nets. So who knows? Kevin Durant is coming off of a really solid game. James Harden as well. No, I meant we need to start Josh Jackson. He's a beast. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Josh Jackson should be ahead of Frank Jackson because right now, Frank, he's having a really slow start to the regular season. Whoever said Killian scoring 30, you don't know basketball. We will be happy if that bum scores 30. I mean, I think he was joking about that. I mean, he may have been serious. I don't know. But, yeah. I bet our only solidified untouchable pieces are Cade and Bay. Yeah, I guess you could say that. I would probably agree with you there. Cade Cunningham, obviously the franchise guy in this. Sadiq Bey, the amounts of improvements that he showed recently, he has the potential to be all-star level. I kind of view him as in the future. He has that level to get to. So those two guys I definitely see as untouchable. And then Killian, I really like Killian. I think Troy Weaver likes Killian as well. But I could see, like, if the right deal, if some magical deal ever got offered to the Pistons down the line in the future, maybe I think he would entertain it. But at the end of the day, I don't really see him trading Killian Hayes. I don't really see him trading Jeremy Grant, at least this season. And then Isaiah Stewart. Those are really the guys who I don't really see, him trading. He may entertain a Killian Hayes trade. Obviously, y'all were talking about Ben Simmons. But at the end of the day, I would say Cade, Bay, Killian, and then Jeremy Grant right now are the guys who I don't really see Troy Weaver, considering trading. Our Pistons should be 2-4. Oh, our Pistons, you talking about, oh, you think we're going to win tonight? Okay. We should get Lance Stevenson and Michael Beasley. I mean, those are veterans to mentor the young guys, I guess, but I don't really want Lance Stevenson and Michael Beasley on this team. I mean, didn't we have Beasley a few years ago back when we had Drummond and then we let him go? Olynyk's defense being underrated, leading the team in steals and charges taken. Yeah, Kelly Olynyk, I mean, I know that I said earlier that he focuses on offense, and that is true because he does primarily, focus on the offensive side of the ball. But defensively, he has shown his moments here and there, and, taking charges. I absolutely does. I do notice and see when Kelly Olynyk does that on the floor. And then someone else, Josh Jackson, we all know the talented defender that he is. But the chase down blocks and just these insane blocks out of nowhere from Josh Jackson in these recent games is just absolutely crazy, man. So the defense, not just from Kelly Olynyk, but Josh Jackson, everybody off that bench, the bench mob really won this recent game against the Orlando Magic. We need Diallo to get hot. Yeah, Hamidou Diallo, he hasn't given us anything at all. And then last game, if I remember correctly, he didn't play not one single minute. So I agree with you. Hamidou Diallo, he does need to ramp it up a bit, but he also needs to be given more opportunity because, if a guy's sitting on the bench for the entire game and he gets in, 5-10 minutes a night, I don't even think he's getting in that much. But if a guy's sitting on the bench for the entire game and then you barely put him in, how do you expect him to, perform to a high level? So Casey, he definitely needs to give more minutes to Hamidou Diallo. Casey with another one of his coaching decisions that makes fans wonder by starting Frank Jackson. What has he done to earn a start this season so far? I mean, last year, Frank Jackson really did show out and earned to be re-signed by the Detroit Pistons. But so far this season, Frank Jackson, he's off to a slow start, and he doesn't really deserve the starting role right now. If it was up to me personally, I would have personally started Josh Jackson at the 2-guard position. Don't worry about yesterday's performance of Cade? No, I'm not worried at all about Cade's performance. I expected him to play that way. He hasn't played basketball since the summer league. He hasn't practiced with this team in a full month. 3 days ago was his first practice with the Detroit Pistons. So he has no chemistry with this team. and he's extremely rusty. So me personally, no, I was not worried or I'm not shocked or anything. Like yesterday's performance by him is nothing for me. It's literally nothing. Killian getting over 10 points is a miracle. I mean, he did in the what's it called? The Atlanta Hawks game. He had over 10 points in that one, but yeah. Casey needs to be fired. I mean, it's kind of early in the season to be firing Dwayne Casey. And that talk should be a few years down the line. I think it's too early, especially right now in the rebuild. You don't want a Detroit Lions situation where you're hopping through coach to coach with a bunch of young guys. You want to build a foundation with this team. You don't really want to be firing guys off the bat like that. So for Dwayne Casey, I would say for at least these next few years, we should keep him. And then later down the line, you can reevaluate and decide whether or not he's the guy, long term in the future. We need Diallo to hit threes. Laugh out loud. I literally never seen him make one in my life. Great slasher, but needs to hit those shots. Yeah, that's 100% true work of art. Hamidou Diallo is not a good three-point shooter. He is 100% a slasher, kind of like D Wade in certain type of ways. Stop having unrealistic expectations. We are not winning tonight. We shouldn't even be thinking about making the play-in tournament. We are a team. I mean, we are a terrible team, and our best player is a former bench player. Slime Cuddy, I guess you a bit late in the stream. I expect the Pistons to lose tonight. I just said that we will have a few moments in this game where we will have a fighting chance. We're not just going to roll over and get destroyed by the Nets. I think, they're going to win this game, but we do have a fighting chance. And I also, in terms of the playing round, I've been saying it for months. The Pistons, at best, will get 35 wins and then miss the playoffs. We will most likely be a 10th seed. That's what I said before the season started. And then now, looking at it now, we may be even worse than that. We may be 11th or 12th seed, maybe below 30 wins. So I'm not having unrealistic expectations. If anything, I have realistic expectations with this team. That's the reason why I'm not upset with Cade Cunningham right now. I expected Cade Cunningham to play that way, especially with him not playing in recent times, not having any practice with this team. I have realistic expectations when it comes to the Pistons. So, my man, I guess you were a bit late. I guess that's why you kind of misunderstood what I was saying. But, yeah. What's up with us starting the season filled with injuries? Feel like it's been the last 5 years now. Yeah. Before even the regular season started, Frank Jackson came down with an injury. Cade Cunningham obviously was with an injury. And then what's his name? Frank Jackson as well. Jeremy Grant, he had an elbow infection. Just the injury bug. Some of these injuries may or may not be real. Who knows? They may just be low managing some of these guys, but it is unfortunate to see our guys not be able to play every single night, I'm missing Kyrie. Yeah, it's Kyrie Irving, a really talented basketball player. Watching his highlights all the time, just watching him dribble the basketball is really fun. But, it's a lot of other young up-and-coming stars. John Morant right now, I really enjoy watching his game. So, yeah. I think we should trade Stu and Kill just because we can get value back. But Jackson, Lee, and Coach Casey need to go. I mean, it would depend. Trade Stu and Killian for what? I mean, what type of value are you getting for those two type of guys? No team, they're not going to trade a superstar for Isaiah Stewart or Killian Hayes. And if I'm not getting a superstar, I don't want a Buddy Hield type player or any of these other guys who are like, they're good, but they're not, the level that you would want to trade guys who are your core pieces for. I'm not trading Killian Hayes and Isaiah Stewart for these Buddy Hield type players. So your first point, I don't agree with you there. And then Jackson, Lee, and Coach Casey need to go. I already spoke on Coach Casey. Which Jackson are you talking about? Are you talking about Josh Jackson or Frank Jackson? And then Saban Lee, I think Saban, he doesn't need to go. He just needs to be sent to the G League because right now he's behind Killian, he's behind Cade, he's behind Corey, he's behind Frank Jackson as well. He should just be in the G League where he could be down there dominating and getting a lot of minutes. And then later down the line in the season, maybe like mid or before the All-Star break, you could bring him back. We need a straight up swap Kobe White for Killian. I think somebody said this also in my other live stream, but I have to say it again. Kobe White is not coming to the Detroit Pistons. The Chicago Bulls would never trade Kobe White for Killian Hayes. And the reason why is because it's because the Chicago Bulls are in win now mode right now, okay? They just brought in Zobal. They brought in DeMar DeRozan. They traded for Vucevic last year. The Bulls are in win now mode. And with that being said, Killian doesn't really help you win right now. Now, Kobe White, he also has some room to grow, but he helps you win now more than Killian would. So as far as that point goes, the swap for Killian for Kobe White, the Bulls would never do that because they are in win now mode. They want to make a deep playoff run this year. We should have kept Rose and traded Killian. Nah, we shouldn't. Nah, not at all. I mean, keeping D Rose would have been fine, but trading Killian, that's a no-go. I'm for real. I seriously think we can beat the Nets tonight to be 2-4. I think we're going to lose, but we will have portions in this game where, we may have the lead every now and then, but the Nets in the end, they will probably win this ball game. Kobe White's aggressiveness would change the offense for the good. Yeah, I agree with you. I really do like Kobe White. He's a really solid player, but the Chicago Bulls are not about to give him up, especially for Killian Hayes. Heck no, we don't Ben Simmons. He don't fit the Pistons culture. Yeah, exactly. The culture that we're trying to build right now does not fit Ben Simmons at all. Keep him in Philadelphia, or they could trade him wherever they want to. This guy, just the diva-ness of him, that's just the weird nature of Ben Simmons. I do not want that energy anywhere near the Detroit Pistons. It just does not fit my city at all, man. I looked up the elbow infection. A hard blow to the elbow can result in BU. What does BU mean? Unless the comment just got cut off. I'm not giving up Livers for anything. Yeah, we haven't even seen Livers play yet. I'm really hoping that we can see him soon, because right now, obviously, we all know that he's recovering from that injury that he had in college. But Isaiah Livers on this team is going to be a big plus for us, if, depending on how the chemistry will go with Cade as well. Because right now, this team, chemistry-wise, is not really there. We need to trade that bum Killian. He's arguably worse than he was his rookie season. Still can't shoot or do anything with his right, and he's scared of contact. We need to get rid of that waste of space. Okay, let me attack your first point. You said we need to trade him because he's a bum. He's worse than he was in his rookie year. I mean, so far, it's extremely early. How are you going to compare? I mean, even his rookie season, we didn't even really get to see a full rookie season out of him. So comparing those two, this season and last year, is kind of really hard to do. And then, talking about his shooting and not being able to score with his right hand, I do agree that he definitely needs to work on those areas and improve on those areas. But, I mean, I'm still having faith and hope in Killian Hayes. He's 20 years old right now. You guys got to think about this. I am 18 years old. Killian is 20, okay? Me and him are only 2 years apart. He's basically a young, he's like a baby in the NBA, okay? In NBA terms, he's literally a baby, okay? Most of these guys, when they come into the NBA, they struggle. They don't really get to the level that they need to get to until a few years down the line. Think about someone like Lonzo Ball. He struggled coming into the NBA. Giannis Antetokounmpo struggled coming to the NBA. You can look at a lot of these star players or average players or whatever. Guys take time to grow and develop when they first get in the NBA. Not everybody's going to come out looking like Ja Morant or Zion Williamson or Luka Doncic, okay? It takes time for most players. And with someone like Killian Hayes, I believe, if he ever gets to his fullest potential, he can be a guy who can average somewhere around 15 points, around 7 rebounds, 7 assists, or even more, somewhere near a triple-double. So Killian, he's a young player right now. I'm going to continue to be patient with him. There's no need to rush. This team is not making the playoffs anytime soon. This team is in a development year right now. There's no need to rush Killian Hayes. There's no need to trade Killian Hayes. I'm going to continue to be patient with him and see him grow and develop as we continue to continue to go in the future with this Pistons team. We need to give Garza time. He's really good, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they could take away, I guess, from Trey Lyles if they would want to, give a few minutes to Luka Garza and take away a few minutes from Trey Lyles. I know he didn't just call Killian Hayes young talent. Luka Garza is better than him. Luka Garza is better than Killian Hayes? I don't really know about that, man. Joe, it's time for Hayes to take advantage of his opportunity to be the focal point while Cade is recovering. Also, Stewart and Bey need to show if they can be the core of this team. Well, I feel like Saddiq Bey, he's already shown that he can be the core of this team. Just the improvement that he's had already from last season to this season. Saddiq Bey, he's already proven that to me. Now, as far as I said, Stewart goes, he's having a pretty slow start to the season as well. I say he's been playing pretty average offensively and defensively. So I do want to see some more out of Isaiah Stewart. But in terms of Killian Hayes, with him without Cade tonight and those first 4 games without Cade, it's an opportunity for Killian to really, improve and prove himself as a point guard on this team while we don't have Cade Cunningham. So I do agree with you that a game like tonight without Cade Cunningham going up against the Brooklyn Nets without Kyrie Irving, this is a good opportunity for him to improve and show himself. Ben Simmons will be great for Detroit playing point forward. I mean, I feel you, bro, but do we really need another a point forward on this team with Killian Hayes being a possible point guard or Cade Cunningham being a possible point guard? Do we really need another point forward on this team? Kelly Olynyk, I know he's a center, he's a big, but Kelly Olynyk as well is a really talented playmaker. So I don't really know if we need another point forward type on this team right now. I mean, it would be nice, obviously, but I don't really know if that's something that we would necessarily need. I think Killian's confidence is just gone. I disagree with you, man, because last night actually playing with Cade, Killian looked more confident. I don't know if I was the only one who noticed that, but it just looked like he felt more comfortable shooting shots knowing that he had Cade in the backcourt with him. Do we extend Josh Jackson? I really hope we do, man. Josh Jackson has been balling out recently so far in the season. And tonight I do expect him to have a pretty good ball game. He's going to put up a lot of points tonight. I hope that after Garza's contract, we don't let go of him. Oh, no, don't worry, man. This is not going to be like a Taco Fall situation. If you guys remember Taco Fall, he was with the, the Boston Celtics, and now he's with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Celtics let him go. That's not going to be the type of situation here in Detroit. I do expect Weaver to bring back Garza because Garza, he fits the type of center that it appears that Troy Weaver wants on this team. You look at the signings that Troy Weaver has made in the past. He brought in Mason Plumlee. He brought in Kelly Olynyk, okay? Those are 2 offensive focused centers. And what is Luka Garza? He's another guy who's an offensive focused center. So, someone like him, I believe, maybe down the line, a possible backup to someone like Isaiah Stewart in the future. I really do hope that we do, extend him after his contract is up as well. If we had a rim protector big, we would be a playoff team. I mean, I don't know if that would necessarily help us. I just think that right now, one thing that's really killing our team is just our shots aren't really falling right now. I mean, last game late in the third and in that fourth quarter, shots finally began to fall. But just in general, so far this regular season, the shots have not been falling for the Pistons. So that's been a big, factor in us losing these ball games. And then as well, we haven't been taking care of the ball particularly well. A lot of turnovers so far in these first games for the Pistons. So I do agree that, a big rim protector would help us, especially help out Isaiah Stewart, but I don't really know if that would help us to get towards playoff level. I don't really know, what it would take for us to get to that level. What do you not get? Killian Hayes is not ever going to amount to anything in this league. He is a pure and utter embarrassment to the city of Detroit. And if he couldn't defend, he would be off this team. That's not true. Killian Hayes, obviously, as you just mentioned, he has really good defense. He's a really good rebounder as well. And he's a pretty solid playmaker for this team. His assist total will be really high, much higher, I mean to say, if Pistons players would start knocking down their three-point shots. Killian, he sets up guys pretty well, and they just don't knock down three-pointers. So he has more areas to his game outside of just defense. He does provide you in other small areas. But even if you take his defense away, I still think that he will have a place on this Pistons team with him being a young guy. You just got to be patient with him, man. We are in no rush. We're not making the playoffs anytime soon. We can just sit back and chill and let Killian grow and develop. I still haven't given up on Killian, but he needs to play with Cade. Corey Joseph has the dribble package of a substitute gym teacher. That's funny, bro. He got that. If anybody plays NBA 2K, he got like that generic one dribble package. Who on the Pistons roster should Killian outscore? Wait, what do you mean? Who on the Pistons roster should Killian outscore? I don't really know what you mean by that. Retype your question. Our best player is a former bench player. Our second best player is a rookie that just scored 2 points. And our third best player is a wannabe Chris Middleton that forgot how to shoot. You talking about Sadiq Bey? As Chris Middleton, I mean, I guess that's a pretty good comparison. But and then you said Cade is our second best player. And our number one player is Kelly Olynyk. I mean, I guess. Well, I wouldn't even say that he's our best player. I just think that he's having the strongest start so far to this regular season. I think Jeremy Grant is probably a better player, a much better player, in fact, than Kelly Olynyk. Um, we're not going to make we're not going to be a playoff team anytime soon. I agree with you. This year is not a playoff year at all. Before the season started, I predicted 35 wins, but it's appearing that it could be much lower than that. So I do agree with you there. We're not a playoff team, but we're not as bad as the other things that you're saying about our team. Starting lineup with Olynyk instead of Killian and have Cade point guard. Well, I guess you're talking about on other nights because tonight Cade won't be playing. But let me think about that. Starting lineup with Kelly Olynyk. No, not right now. Maybe we could try that out later down the line in the season. But as of right now, I just want to test out Killian more at point guard and give him more opportunity, especially if Cade is going to be load managing on a couple of nights. Looks like we got a good deal for Sekou. We should trade Grant and Hayes for Jaren Jackson Jr. What do you think? That's interesting. For Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't really know, man. I like Jaren Jackson Jr. as a player. He's really talented, but first off, another thing, I don't really think that the Memphis Grizzlies would do that because he's a player who could really grow and develop with Ja Morant. And then also just Killian Hayes, I don't really know how much value he has to other NBA teams. I don't really think that his trade value is as high as some Pistons fans think. So, I like Jaren Jackson Jr., but I don't know about that trade. I don't know. Diallo being a pure slasher is fine as long as he's consistent hitting his shots. This league is becoming far too three or die everywhere. That is true. As long as he somewhere down the line develops a 3-point shot, to somewhere around like 31, 32%, something like that for Hamidou Diallo, I think that would be fine. They need to send that bump Killian to the G League until he at least develops a consistent mid-range jumper. Oh shoot, I just skipped over a lot of comments. My bad, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, we're back. We need a center, someone like Marvin Bagley due for a fresh start. Slide Isaiah Stewart at power forward. Isn't Marvin Bagley like a power forward? Like, doesn't he play the 4 and not the 5? I could be wrong about that, but last time I checked, Marvin Bagley was a power forward. And then also, what are we trading for Marvin Bagley? Because the Sacramento Kings, they're going to want a lot for him. I believe the Pistons will win tonight. Hey, wishful thinking, my man. Wishful thinking. Jaren Jackson's injury prone, man. That is true. Wasn't it in the bubble when they were making that run and then he got injured, like right when they were about to make it to the playoffs, and then they missed it. On this roster, though, Killian starts. He should be about 8th in scoring average. What do you think Killian stats will be this year at best and at the lowest expected? So, this year. So last year he averaged, I don't know his entire stat line for last year, but I remember that he averaged 6.8 points last year. So, in his second year in the NBA, he should improve slightly. So I would say that I hope that maybe 9 points, going from 6, because it's basically 7 points he averaged last year. Maybe going from 7 points to 9 points would be good for him. And then his assist and rebound total, I don't remember those stats off the top of my head, so I don't really know. Trade for De'Aaron Fox. The guys, I appreciate all y'all, going out there and thinking of these trade ideas, but you guys also have to think about these other teams. Why would the Sacramento Kings ever trade De'Aaron Fox? He's their franchise guy. He's their Cade Cunningham. I don't really see a reason why the Kings will want to trade De'Aaron Fox. So I appreciate, throwing out all these ideas out there, but it doesn't really seem realistic, in my opinion. What's up, Dr. Foe? Isaiah needs to improve his outside game if we were to ever move him to the 4. That is true. He does attempt a lot of 3-pointers. He doesn't really make many of them, but I do agree that he does need to continue to just practice those things, shooting the ball. Killian Hayes will average 5 points and 3 assists this year. Don't expect anything better from that trash. I think he can average more than 3 assists. Definitely, he can definitely average more than 3 assists if guys learn how to knock down their shots again. I was impressed with Cade last night, even though his points score was low. It was his first game. On the other hand, seemed like every game is Killian's first game. Um, we need to trade Killian and we need to trade Killian and someone else for Colin Sexton or De'Aaron Fox. They are going and they are going and proven unlike Killian. There are a lot of people who are criticizing Killian Hayes right now, and I understand. You guys have your own opinions, your own thoughts, and I'm not gonna kill you guys for it. Killian Hayes, he's had a slow start, and last year he didn't really, live up to a lot of guys' expectations as well. So I understand you guys' critiques of him, and I'm personally going to continue to be patient, but I can understand and respect you guys' different opinions. Frank needs to go. I mean, he doesn't need to go. He just needs to pick it up. He's had a slow start. Okay, fun trade. Pistons receive Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, a 2022 second-round pick. Raptors receive Hamidou Diallo and a 2021 and a 2022 first-round pick. The problem with that is we don't know how bad we're going to be this season. So let's say we're absolutely terrible for the entirety of this regular season, and then we give up that 2022 first-round pick. That pick has the potential to be a top 3 player. And then with that top 3 pick, we could pick up a guy to pair along with Cade Cunningham. And then we have 2 guys with superstar potential. And I know a lot of people are high on Scotty Barnes. I as well am really high on Scotty Barnes. But am I willing to give up a top 3 pick for someone like him? I mean, I really do like him. He has massive amounts of potential. But I don't really know if I would give up a pick that could be that high for him. They need to trade Killian Hayes and Frank Jackson for a true 2-guard. Our only true 2-guard is Diallo, and they barely play him. They might win power forward. Wait, what? They might win PF play good tonight with Cade, and he was a little off. He makes a difference. We definitely need to trade Killian for anything. He's trash. Detroit fans are the worst. They're also impatient and unrealistic, no matter what Detroit team you're talking about. Enough with all the Killian Hayes shaking my head. I mean, it's hard because, I know it's not the Pistons, but I can understand a team like the Detroit Lions, being extremely frustrated with them. They've been losers for their entire existence. So I can understand the frustration with them. But with the Pistons, I don't really understand why people don't want to be patient. I mean, I get that the Stan Van Gundy era was a complete and utter failure, but this Troy Weaver era so far, getting Cade Cunningham, the first overall pick, and Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart, signing Jeremy Grant, and being a great signing for the Pistons, I don't really understand why people are so impatient with our franchise, but it is what it is. People, they have the right to have their own opinion. Killian is Sekou 2.0. Okay. I think they're going to win 35 to 40 games as soon as they gel together. I mean, I predicted 35 wins, but I do believe that once they gel together and once they start knocking down their shots and lower the turnover margins, I do believe we're going to start, really cooking towards later on in the season, and especially when our schedule starts to easing up. Because right now, our schedule to start out this regular season is tough, man. The Brooklyn Nets, we went up against the Atlanta Hawks, the Chicago Bulls, the 76ers. Our schedule has been tough. And luckily for us, later down the line in the season, that's when the schedule begins to ease up. So, hopefully as we develop chemistry and everything, that's when the Pistons really start to, pick it up and get more wins towards the end of the season. The Raptors ain't trading Scotty for 4 first-round picks, bro. Yeah, that as well. I don't think it's realistic. When has Killian ever showed you that he was going to be anything in the future? He should have never even been a lottery pick. Did you watch the Atlanta Hawks game? He had a really solid ball game in there. In that game. Killian is good, but he's tradable, especially for a talent like Ben Simmons. Nah, those 2 players, they're in the same prototype, except I believe that Killian has the potential to be he may be a slightly lesser version than him, but he will be a better shooter, and I think he's going to fit the team more. I'll make Killian work on his threes. The Pistons score 110 points without Cade or Killian, our youngest guys, hitting double figures. While people expect the youngest guy to score more than the older guys, it's just a impatience type of thing, I guess. Joe, Killian was a number 7 selection, not 37. I don't think I ever said that he was the 37th selection. I never said that. Ben Simmons would not survive in Detroit with that diva attitude. I mean, look at Philadelphia. If he ever decides to come back, the fans are gonna boo the heck out of him. And the same thing is gonna happen if he comes here in Detroit. I do not think he's gonna be welcomed with open arms if we traded for him, especially, if it was for someone like Jeremy Grant or Killian Hayes or something like that. So yeah, nobody wants Ben Simmons. He's beyond overrated and diva. Like, yeah, I do not want Ben Simmons at all, bro. Man, the Pistons are a sleeper team. They will shock a lot of people. Switch Saban Lee with Killian. He's already proved he can play work on his guaranteed talent. No, you guys, that's the one that you guys always go for. You always talk about Saban Lee. Saban Lee needs to be in the G League right now, okay? There is no purpose for him being on the main roster right now. He's not going to get minutes, and he's not going to get minutes at all. Like, what is the purpose of him being on the main roster right now? Just to be in the locker room and, to chat and be mentored by these guys? I guess that's cool and all, but I would much prefer him to be in the G League, and then maybe after the All-Star break or right before the All-Star break, bring him back to the main roster. And Ben Simmons can't shoot. The majority of Killian's fans seem to be middle-aged Southeast Asian men who really fancy his thick hair, tight body, and matcha-like smooth skin. Okay, that is a weird comment, bro. That's weird. Elton Cross, thank you for the $5 donation. I'm really trying to figure out why we baby our young guys. This is a team. This is a young team. I'm tired of seeing all the other guys from the draft play. Hashtag free Killian. Hashtag free Cade. Yeah, I get that it's frustrating, to see someone like Jalen Green go out there and play well, and Evan Mobley and Suggs and all these guys go out and play. And it's frustrating not to have our guy, but it is what it is. I'm going to continue to be patient. We're not winning any, playoff games this season, so I'm going to just chill and sit back. It's frustrating, but I'm just going to get through it. And again, thank you for the $5 donation, Elton. I really appreciate it. Yeah, they just need some more plays for Killian and get him to the free throw line. Yeah, he needs to be more aggressive when it comes to attacking to the hole and stop doing so many floaters, because floaters, like, it's a good move, but it doesn't really draw fouls like that. When you go for regular layups and you fight through contact, you have a more opportunity to get to the free throw line. So I definitely want to see him, maybe tone down the floaters a bit and just, put his head down and try to barrel through the lane. He's 6'5", going up against point guards who are 6'2". He needs to act like he's a 6'5" point guard, man. Last game, nobody was shooting consistently. Yeah, that is true. Early in that game, first, second quarter, most of the third quarter, guys weren't really knocking down shots. They didn't hit their shots really until that fourth quarter. Who wants to make a bet if Killian gets 15 points or 10 assists? I will cash out you 50. Well, the first thing, Killian, he's not getting 10 assists if guys continue to miss their shots. But 15 points tonight, I would – if I were to throw a random number out there without Kyrie Irving, I would hope that he could at least get maybe 10 tonight. I would be cool with that. Killian scoring more than 10 points. Get all the Killian raving about. Okay, you're acting weird, crypto. You're acting real weird right now, man. Killian got international experience. He should be developed. Killian is a defensive beast, and he makes. Basketball is more than just scoring. If you don't understand this, then you haven't played basketball in your life. That is true, man. There is much more to basketball than just, scoring. There are other ways that you can affect the game: leadership, passing the ball, playmaking, rebounding. You can always affect the game in some type of way. So, I understand that people are criticizing his scoring, and he does need to improve his scoring. But at the same time, he gives you so much more on the floor outside of that. I need the crack side to watch the game. Link in the chat, please. Joe Polo. Maybe hit me up on Instagram, and then I'll send it to you right after. Right before the game, because I can't really pause the stream right now. Let me see. Y'all don't have any patience. Y'all don't even deserve a good player. Who's next? Y'all kicking Cade out. Hey, there are a lot of people who say slow-mo Cade. Thank you, Killian. Was already a pro before he was in the NBA. And he was trash there too. Y'all were saying the same thing about Stanley Johnson. Y'all won't try to trade him till it's too late. I mean, the Stanley Johnson thing is, I mean, in hindsight, it's, hindsight is always 2020. Stanley Johnson, even you guys can't deny that back then, Stanley Johnson, it did appear that he had massive potential. He didn't have the offense. He had, the rebounding. I mean, not rebounding, but the defense, and he had a lot of strength to him. So, Stanley Johnson, I know a lot of people like to crap on him, but hindsight, it's always 2020, man. It's always 2020. We need another big man. I think Casey is a bum for not letting Cade play, and have faith in Hayes. He will be a stud. I mean, hopefully tonight without Cade, we'll see more out of Killian Hayes. Sekou going to be fake good tonight. But I'm about to wrap up the stream because we have 5 minutes. I believe the game starts at 7:30. It does start at 7:30. So 5 minutes until the game starts. I appreciate everybody who came through and said, oh, thank you for the $5 donation before I ended the stream, Michael Blackwell. But I'll put out a video tomorrow doing another game breakdown. And thank you guys for all the people who came through. I had a high, I think it was at 74. So I appreciate all of y'all for watching the stream. Go Pistons, about to go watch this game, have some fun. Enjoy Halloween for the people out there who celebrate that. I don't really celebrate it because I kind of find Halloween kind of boring and corny in my personal opinion. But yeah, about to go watch this game and enjoy some Pistons basketball. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and peace.